Hi, purpose of this video is to show students how the simulation training works in MyLab. You will see simulation trainings for all future assignments, I'm pretty sure for every week coming up. It's a great way to learn the material, basically. You should use the videos first and then do the simulation training because it's a hands-on application. And it's also worth points for your assignments. So you just simply click, I always provide the links here in Blackboard, so you don't need to log into MyLab because we've connected the two. So you just simply click on the link here and it's going to bring you into MyLab, into the simulation training. Okay, so one thing I want to point out here, because this is a simulation, it's consistently recording all of your actions. And what's cool about that is when you submit it, I can actually see what you have done. So I can see if you're doing something wrong, which is kind of nice. But it's important that you recognize that the simulation window, you can kind of see here where there's this blue bar around the screen here. This is the simulation area. So down here, this is my actual task bar, my actual start bar. So you want to be careful of that because sometimes when you go to do something, you might see like two start buttons. Just keep in mind that the start button they want you to press would be within this window. So you can see here my directions are on the right hand side, and your computer it might be on the bottom. It doesn't really matter, it's just sort of how your screen is laid out. But it's saying here, sign into Windows using the Microsoft account for MyLab user, blah blah blah, enter. So I see here is the user, and it shows me in blue what it wants me to enter. So I'm simply going to enter MyLab 1234. And if I want to verify, right, I can, just like in a regular environment, I can always click on that to verify that, yeah, it was entered correctly. And then I can either hit enter or click that. So then it goes on to the next step. And so this is what I was referring to, how you see this two start button. So display the home page of the settings window. So let's say I went through the videos, I don't remember how to do this, okay, for whatever reason. So this is what I love about the simulation. Down here in the bottom right corner, you see these learning aids. And if you click on the learning aids, there's often three choices. There's read instructions, which are not available this time around, watch video, and practice. But this practice is my favorite because it's going to show you where you need to click. So I'm going to click on practice,
On
and
the
you'll see.
taskbar, in the Notifications area, click the Action Center icon and then click All Settings.
So it's telling you where you need to click. It's showing it to you. And what you want to be careful of here is that you're understanding what you're doing, that you're not sort of a dog doing tricks and just like clicking where it tells you to click because you're trying to get through your homework as quick as possible. The point here is you're trying to learn how to do this so that you can do it on your own in the future when you don't have a program like this telling you how to do it. So we're going to click here, and then it's saying go to All Settings. So I'm going to click on All Settings. And then that's complete. So now what happens is it says, okay, now I want you to show me you can still do that, that you learned it. So now you have to do it again. So I'm going to click on it here. I go to All Settings. And so now it's going to move on to the next step. So basically each step just sort of becomes bold as you're going, and then you're going to continue on and follow the directions. And if you get stuck, you can go back to the learning aids. So at any point in time, you can click save, and it will save it for later. And let's say you get called to dinner and you're not done, right? Just hit save, and then you can close out. And when you come back in through the link, it will bring you back to the spot that you were at. When you are completely done and you get through all of the questions, you can see here there's questions 2 through 26, you would just hit submit. If you're really stuck on a question, you can skip and go to the next question, but be aware of the fact that you won't get the points for that. So I encourage you to just do the learning aid because it's going to tell you what to do. Just be mindful of the fact that like it is case sensitive. It tells you to type a certain way. One other thing that's important to note, some keyboards might not have a key, like for future simulations, that you need to press. Like you might be looking on your keyboard and you don't see it. I want to point out down here that they do have this on-screen keyboard that you can click on, and this has all of the buttons that you would potentially need, which probably should be on your keyboard as well, but sometimes if you have a special keyboard, they're not. So use this keyboard if needed if you don't have a key on your keyboard. And then close that back up. So you see here that there are going to be times where you might try to do something, and if you don't do it correctly, it gives you 5 attempts at it. And if you don't do it correctly, it's going to automatically launch that practice for you that I showed you down here. So it's just going to do that on its own. But if you get to a step and you don't know how to do it, then just launch the practice and see how to do it. So you'll cut out that doing it 5 times wrong piece. Students only need to do the simulations one time through, But if you like the simulations, you feel like they're helpful to you in your learning, you can do the simulations up to, I think it's 5 times I have it set at. I don't recommend that you do it 5 times. That seems like a waste of time. But definitely sometimes if it's a difficult topic, doing them a couple times can be helpful. Students will always get the highest score. So, and if you're really having an issue, you can't figure it out, send me a Blackboard message, and if you submit it, I can go in and look at what you're doing wrong, and then comment on what I think it is that you might be, the mistake that you might be making, and then you can just go ahead and do it again. So that's it for the simulation. Most students tend to like them because if you just put the time in, and again, just try to remember that the purpose of this is that you're learning and you're not just trying to get through it.